Hello and welcome to the Sawalha-Adderleys. This is today's Gaza Live.
Gaza today. Well, I mean, I think...
Well, it's not live. It's
no, it's not live. No. We wanted to touch base. We wanted to do... There's so many stories that are sort of, every day there are so many stories around Gaza, the West Bank. Obviously, a huge spotlight's been thrown over it by the Louis Theroux documentary, which we did a review and discussion of. Lots of you guys have kind of come to the channel and seen that. A lot of people around the world frustrated, obviously, they can't watch the full documentary. Yeah. So we thought we'd talk in a little bit more detail about some of the footage, some of the stories that have been coming out of, weirdly, mostly America, actually, in the last week, because the National Security Minister for Israel, Ben-Gvir, lots of people who've been following Gaza, know the conflict, know the history of Israel and Gaza and the West Bank will know Ben-Gvir, a notorious character who featured, there was a sort of cutaway footage of him, wasn't there, in the Louis Theroux documentary. He's been visiting America to go and rub the backs of the Republicans, to go and say thank you to Trump and all of his cronies for all of their support in the ongoing genocide in Gaza.
And as a very proud settler living in Hebron, and which makes him a criminal, because he's illegal not only in international law, but also in Israeli law. So he is a criminal visiting New York. The parallels one just can't help but see. A moment where a lot of people, through the Louis Theroux documentary, are just finding out about the settlers. He's over in New York, highlighted, adored, and causing trouble wherever he goes.
Well, he's not. Well, the really encouraging thing about some of the clips that we're going to play and that I've found actually as we've compiled the footage, it's really encouraging to hear and see and experience the fact that so many Americans are anti what's going on in Gaza and West Bank. Many American Jews are anti Ben-Gvir, are anti Netanyahu. Many government ministers are anti the Netanyahu sort of version, if you like, of Israel. We've talked
which, just a little pause, does not make you anti-Semitic.
No.
To be anti-Netanyahu, to be anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitic. Zionism is a political ideology. It's the rule of law here. It is, you are allowed to be anti-Zionist without having the label put on you that you're anti-Semitic. And he throws around anti-Semitic, as does Netanyahu, all the time. And our Jewish brothers and sisters that are outraged by this, who warm our hearts throughout the whole military aggression that's been going on.
But they've cheapened the term anti-Semitism, for sure. That doesn't mean anti-Semitism hasn't increased. But when you look at what the cause and effect is, I can promise you that Netanyahu's brand of Israeli nationalism has infinitely made things worse.
I just want to take us back a little while ago to when the ICJ issued the arrest warrant for him. And do you remember what he said? This is a new kind of anti-Semitism. Oh, we've got a new one now.
Well, because they've exhausted
the old one. We've got a new one, which is all about anyone that disagrees with you or the Ben-Gvirs or, any of the other of your government that live by the most appalling, racist, violent philosophies. So it don't make you anti-Semitic.
Before we get into Ben-Gvir in more detail, because of course he's been touring around New York and America, he's been in Florida visiting Mar-a-Lago, how do you say it?
Mar-a-Lago, that's where he was the first night. Huge dinner.
Yeah. But I just want to, just before we get going, because just before we started to record this, we talked about the Settlers documentary by Louis Theroux, we reviewed it. We talked about the possibility that the media would seek to rubbish it or question it or question how valid it was as a piece of journalism.
We talked about, on the live, didn't we? Wonder how they're going to do it. People say, are they going to accuse Louis Theroux of being Hamas? Are they going to make out he's a paedophile? What's going to happen? And a couple of our very astute followers and watchers said,
they just won't cover it.
They're going to ignore it. Which has happened. But...
Well, no, we have so we have a couple of reviews that came through. I read the Telegraph's one yesterday. They gave it a 2-star review. But we're going to go for the Daily Mail today. So there's nothing surprising in this. But let's just remember, the Daily Mail likes to pride itself as a law-abiding newspaper for law-abiding citizens. Yeah? The Daily Mail's take on the Louis Theroux Settlers documentary, quote, a deep streak of cynicism lies under his charade. His interviewees are carefully chosen to reinforce the BBC narrative that Israelis are the oppressors and Palestinians their victims. They go on in the piece to say this, which I find quite remarkable, because they're trying to lay a bear trap of sorts. They go on further in the article to say that Daniela Weiss, the kind of crazed
the mother of the settlers,
matriarch of the settlers, if you like. The Daily Mail and the Telegraph tried to sort of make out these are extremists, they're lunatics, they're the bonkers fringe, the insane end of things, and all that kind of stuff. And then the Daily Mail has the gall to say that by contrast, Louis Theroux's main Palestinian spokesman was the avowedly non-violent Amro, a long-time activist who advocates peaceful protest and has denounced Hamas terrorism. Now, what's interesting about this is we can see what you're up to, mainstream media, because if he hadn't interviewed someone who was anti-Hamas, what would all the papers have been doing today? This is the bit. You think we're stupid? So if he'd interviewed someone from Hamas, all the coterie of individuals who pulled down the last documentary would have gone, he interviewed someone who's a member of Hamas.
Good
he interviewed someone...
We're not stupid.
We're not fucking born yesterday. And unfortunately, I would have to say that I think the footage that they ended up showing was at the tame end of settler violence. So quite the opposite.
Because we've all seen the videos, haven't we?
And let's not forget, Israel sought the Nobel Peace Prize for that fringe lunatic Daniela Weiss.
Yes.
So that's the Daily Mail
that's
for
that
you.
put away is a load of old
What a load of old shit. And then Louis Theroux, the Telegraph said, the settler, Theroux's approach is mismatched with the political reality of Israel.
The political propaganda and ideology of Israel, maybe.
So the Telegraph and the Mail have very little they can sink their teeth into, which again suggests the programme makers did a very successful job of getting the message out there, which is why the normally cacophonous sound of those objectors, I can't hear them because they can't get a handle on it to pull it apart because it was all said by the settlers. So, top settler of all settlers is who? Ben-Gvir. Ben-Gvir is a settler in the Israeli-occupied West Bank.
Illegal.
His family, he has 6 children, met his wife when she was 15.
Oh, God.
And apparently, get this, on their first date, on his first date with his wife, he visited with her, took her on a visit, to the grave of a chap called Baruch Goldstein. And in 1994, Baruch Goldstein walked into a room or a cave and shot 29 Palestinians with a submachine gun and tried to shoot more. So Ben-Gvir's first date was to take his wife to the grave of an Israeli terrorist, and he has a portrait of the person in his house. He's widely disseminated the literature of identifiably terrorist organizations in Israel.
And identified by America.
So to be perfectly accurate, he's a former terrorist sympathizer. He's a former terrorist.
Former?
Well, yeah, but he's not literally a member now. So he has been involved in the promotion of terrorism, and he also lives in Hebron in a settlement which is illegal with his wife and 6 children.
But America, they're very tough on crime, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very tough on crime.
Yeah, well, especially when it's Palestinians not doing anything, or Americans protesting for peace.
I mean, you or I, if we were to visit America now,
yeah.
I mean, just having had a social media account
Yes.
where we pleaded for the end of bombing children,
yes.
we could possibly be in danger for visiting America.
Yes, but
because we don't like to see children blown sky high by very powerful American bombs.
And yet a guy with proven terrorist connections
arrives, goes straight to Mar-a-Lago, straight there to Trump's palace, where he proudly talks about how badly they're treating the Palestinian hostages, of which they've rounded thousands up.
Well, we have a couple of clips here. We have he's so fizzing with excitement was Ben-Gvir about the whole idea of getting on a plane. Because let's face it, it's probably one of the few places that wants him is America. So he's landed. He's like, fuck me, I've been on a plane and I've landed somewhere. Oh, this is a great idea, a plane.
And then he had an idea.
Let's have a listen to it.
אפשר לעשות את עידוד ההגירה בדרך הכי קלה, הכי פשוטה. הנה המטוס, מעלים אותם למטוס ופשוט החוצה. אפשר לעודד הגירה מרצון, אפשר לעשות את זה, אנחנו יכולים להצליח את זה, אנחנו רק צריכים לרצות.
Do you know what that was just like? Do you know what it was just like? Let me tell you, you know, obviously he's a lawyer.
No, I don't think he was. I think he wasn't allowed to take the bar.
Doesn't mean he doesn't stop practicing as a lawyer. But do you know what that was like? He was talking there like the adverts you get in America of 2-bit lawyers. You know how you can get someone on a plane and get them out of the country free of charge. He's
it's all part of the Gaza Riviera.
He's so stupid. It took an aeroplane to give him the idea.
Be careful, the Gaza Riviera. There are sharks in that water.
He then, Mar-a-Lago, basically praises how America has helped him. So let's have a look at this clip.
I'll
just say a few words. I love you very much. I love the American people. We have a joint war, we have a shared war against the jihad. Many years I'm fighting against them. We've made a few changes in Israel, in the way we treat terrorists in jails. It used to be like a hotel over there. We took away all of their privileges, canteen and showers and television.
What he's saying is we've made it unbearable. And what's the statistics now? What's the number of, he's calling them terrorists, and actually there's something like 10, 15,000 who are...
and many children, many children. It's the only country
arrested without charge?
Yeah. I think it's 50% will never have charges. And what he's showing off about there is that they are starved, they are tortured, they are raped with electrical... I don't know what you'd call them.
No.
They in the Knesset, they argued that of course it's your right to rape a terrorist.
Right.
These are people that haven't even had charges brought against them. We've seen videos of it, and he's at a fancy dinner showing off. Now, he didn't mention, of course, the rapes. He didn't say any of that. We all know very well. So
he's showing off about egregious humanitarian breakages of law. So an illegal settler
and being applauded and tinkled
who's been a terrorist is allowed into America and is preaching human rights abuses.
Horrific human rights abuses. And you know what? He always has a crowd of big burly men
I never see him
looking out for him. Just like when you look at the idea, there's always loads of them, isn't there? Imagine him standing on his own saying anything
very
like
small
this.
though, isn't it? Very small.
And we're going to see more clips.
But anyway, we're going to see. So one of the most sort of, in a sense, encouraging things about some of these clips now is we've got a collection, a montage of clips, which is protests, opposition, whether it be students at Yale, whether it be Jewish protesters, Israeli protesters saying, not in our name, can you come here and advocate or defend the genocide that's going on in Gaza. So we're going to just show you a few of these clips, and we'll pause at any point now, so we'll just sort of talk about it.
You are a war criminal. You will kill my family in Gaza. You killed 50. Don't touch me.
You terrorist!
Don't touch
you
me.
kill our children!
Go back.
You
Don't
kill
touch
our
me.
children. Go back.
Don't touch me.
Go back.
Don't touch me.
Go back.
Don't touch me.
Go back.
It's illegal to touch me. You Zionist mug. You scum. You scum.
Terrorist.
You scum. You scum. You killed my family in Gaza for 70 years. No babies have been killed, you liar. How many babies have you killed? 60,000 killed. 60,000 killed.
10,000 children.
60,000 killed in Gaza, you smug. You dirty scum. You dirty scum Zionist. You're in the trash of history. That's what you are. Everyone will know your truth. You scum.
This woman.
Everyone will know your truth.
She's horrendous, that woman.
Go home, you Zionist.
You should go to hell!
Ben-Gvir, go to the Hague. Ben-Gvir, go to the Hague.
Explain to us, because I haven't got the clip, but the blonde-haired woman is part of his entourage.
Well, she's an American. Do you remember her outside the Al-Aqsa mosque saying that will be gone?
That's
that will all be
her.
gone. That's her.
But she's walking behind them in another clip I've seen. I don't think I've got it.
She's there all the time.
Where she's
filming.
saying woof, 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 they're like dogs.
barking at them like
Muslim
dogs.
dogs.
Muslim dogs. She sees all of Islam that way.
Yeah.
But Can you just imagine what his security guards think of him?
Well, I think
Because he's putting them in danger. Well, then nobody was going to hurt them there, but he out on the street wherever, he's always shouting because he's so brave, because he's got security on him. Security are dealing with that. Be quiet and walk.
I think this may be a continuation in the same sort of area, but this is further footage of him remonstrating in protest.
You kill baby! You kill baby! You kill baby! You kill baby!
A racist. You are a war criminal. You are a war criminal. You are a war criminal.
Oh, she's
this
been
lady.
amazing, this
You are
lady.
disgusting.
She's Jewish.
And you
And she'll
destroy
never stop.
my religion.
Look
You
at
destroy my religion.
You destroy my religion.
You have to be in the Hague. You are a racist. You're a criminal. And you're hurting my religion. My religion as a Jew. You are creating the anti-Semitism.
9/11.
I never supported 9/11.
9/11.
You're genocide. You're destroying Judaism with your hate. Baby killer, extremist, racist, ethnic cleanser,
Americans don't want you here.
genocide. Get out of our house. We don't want you here. And you're destroying my religion. You're creating anti-Semitism.
You see,
Follow her, Code Pink. She
Yeah.
works so hard, day in,
So
day out.
hard.
She goes in there, she gets so much abuse from Republican senators as
yeah,
well. She never gives up.
I have to say, my worry about this footage is that woman who was at the
Code
temple, no, the
Oh.
woman who's filming all of the protesters, that footage will be sent to ICE.
Absolutely.
Everyone is taking a risk. We've got followers here,
everyone
Judy,
is
who are
taking
going
a
on.
risk.
May the 1st is a massive anti-Trump marches all across
And be
America.
so careful because they're warning that
It doesn't necessarily
agitators
chime that anti-Trump is necessarily anti the genocide. It doesn't square up like that necessarily. But obviously, if you're anti-Trump and you're anti the Israeli genocide, you're going to be there. But I would, lots of people, even people that we know, people who follow us and have commented on many of our Trump lives, have said they're going to be masking up for the day. And these are
This is outrageous.
these are just everyday, Americans, liberal Americans going out.
She was going, and she was going,
I just worry that all of them are
I've got ICE behind me. I've got Trump. I'm gonna get you, dirty people.
Well, the next clip I'm
I
going
don't
to
think
show
I can
you.
watch many more of them.
No. The next clip I'm going to show you is the footage, very dramatic footage in Brooklyn from a couple of nights ago, where,
Horrendous.
again, protesters were protesting Ben-Gvir's attendance to the city, the visit. He was trying to visit synagogues. Something like 16 synagogues refused to take him in or refused to see him. So it's really important to stress
And it
this.
was planned that he would go, but due to pushback, they cancelled.
And it's really important to say this because we don't, it's not perhaps said enough that there are many Jewish Americans who are horrified by this man and horrified by what he represents.
Absolutely.
And are pushing back massively.
And then the marches here in London, there's
Yeah.
so many Jewish people walking with.
And in fact, we've got a rabbi. I've got a clip of the rabbi in a moment. But this is do you want to set this footage up? This is the footage of a young woman because there's a bit of confusion. There were footage of two women.
Yeah. So there was a demonstration, and one woman who turned out to be a Jewish woman with an Israeli passport. She had a keffir on, and she was part of the demonstration. They attacked her.
This is the image
That's
of
the
her
image
with blood
of her.
on
We
her
don't
face.
have the names of either of these women. They both want to remain anonymous.
Not
name-wise.
surprisingly.
Not surprisingly. But she said, wow, I mean, what an activist. She said, as they were attacking her, she was thinking, you morons, I'm a Jew with an Israeli passport, but
How
I don't,
ridiculous.
I don't want to be going on what's going on. She's going to become a pin-up, really, for the
And
movement.
that's the image of her after the attack.
Yeah,
And then the other woman.
and then this other woman who came out of her apartment to see what the commotion was. They started 100 men.
This is astonishing.
100 men followed her down the street. She put her scarf up like this when she came out. It's not a keffir, just a plain scarf. And they hounded her all the way down the street. They threw things at her. They shoved her. They gave
Kicked her in the
threats
back.
of rape. What is it with this sexual obsession. It's so weird.
Shall I show some of the footage?
And it's truly upsetting.
Very distressing.
We cannot even imagine how terrifying that was. One policeman trying to keep them away from her, but she stayed very calm and she just kept walking until she was bashed on the back of the head, and then she turned around, but she must have been death to Arabs.
Chanting death to Arabs.
Fuck Palestine.
She's just been kicked in the back.
Shoved. Then they throw something at her head after.
They really hurt. They made a really... Look at that. It's a banging move. That one police officer.
And they're threatening rape.
Look, just kicked her in the back. They're now chanting death to Arabs.
Poor woman. She'd be traumatised. Oh my God, I've got like goosebumps and fear from her. These little twerps. Who brought you up? And never forget, this is what Palestine is like for the Palestinians and has been for the last 78 years. This is it. This is the reality. And nobody's coming for you.
But this is the, as this plays...
It's like when Louis Theroux said, where are the police? Because what do you think the police are going to do? Police aren't going to do anything.
But the ridiculous thing here is the very thing that all the Zionists, pro-Netanyahu Israelites, everything that they accuse the peace marchers or protests of doing and being, they are doing and being here. Think of the name of the Palestinian as being, they want to expel from America, the student protester. He didn't do anything like that. Look, just hit her on the head.
Hit her on the head. No NYPD about, eh? Apart from...
We've got them all on camera. Why don't we get them all on camera?
NYPD, did you not have any thought for your fellow colleague there who was on his own with a baby?
He finally bails her into a squad car.
But how come all those police there
cheer.
weren't running down the road?
Yeah.
They're disgusting. But the LAPD and the NYPD are trained to see this or the watermelon as a badge of terrorism. That's what they're taught. Anti-Semitism.
What, but do they have no critical thinking? Are they literally shown signs and they go, attack a watermelon? I mean, we're talking about, these are police officers. Do they have zero capacity do they have zero self-critical capacity? I mean,
imagine how frightened that policeman was. Because at the point where they pushed her up against the window, was that going to turn into a gang rape?
I'm amazed it didn't.
Was that going to turn into a gang rape because they were shouting rape? I mean, I don't know. I can't obviously understand Hebrew, but reports are that they were shouting rape. There was a demonstration yesterday where if they were doing the most graphic, vile, sexual. It's the same when we go on the march in London. I mean, the stuff that they're shouting. Why are you so angry when you've got everything you want? You've got it. You've got the country. You've got the billions of dollars. Why are you so angry?
You've got the most sophisticated weaponry on the planet. This rabbi is really powerful.
Minister of Security of Israel is currently dirtying this beautiful country with his presence. Ben-Gvir regularly tramples upon the holiness of the Temple Mounts, violating its sanctity, violating Jewish law, and compromising the safety and security of Jewish people. Minister of Security, all you've secured, Mr. Ben-Gvir, by your behavior, is a designated place in the lowest pits of hell waiting for you. The only thing you've secured is endangering Jews. You are responsible for the police brutality against the non-Zionist Jews in the Holy Land. Jews follow the God-given religion of Judaism. Zionists follow the nationalist construct of Zionism. People like Ben-Gvir, who claim to be religious, he wears a yarmulke like me. I have something to tell you, Mr. Ben-Gvir. If you want to be a Zionist, Ben-Gvir, take off your yarmulke. Stop keeping Shabbos. Eat some pork and leave Judaism alone. Leave us alone. Don't say things and do things and make people think it's the name of the Jews.
Oh my God. That made me emotional. See, we don't understand. People are so stupid and simplistic, and they equate the two things. The Zionist project is a colonialist project that the vast majority of pure Jewish religious, observance do not agree with. It's a total corruption of Judaism, like so many religions. Not the only religion, but the human interpretation of each religion is where the twistedness creeps in. It's like radical Islam, radical Muslims are
ISIS
not
has nothing
Muslims.
to do
It
with
has
it.
nothing to do with Islam.
Fundamentalist Christians that perpetrate the most appalling behaviours and acts. It's not the essence of the religion.
And I really want to
all the way through the ages, there have been dark forces that have twisted religion for their own use. This is not a war about religion. This is not. This is about land and oil and money and power and ego and white supremacy.
White supremacy. And so many Jewish people around the world are saying, not in our name.
And there's many.